भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So revision. Yesterday what did we discuss? What you remember, what you appreciate? Take the mic.
Hare Krishna.
Prayers of child in womb. And Prabhupada writes very nice purport that the child is telling that, my dear Lord, life after life, he feels wretched by his due to suffering by remembering all the previous lives, and he is promising the Lord that after I come out, I'll surely take your shelter. But then we discuss the power of Maya is so strong that the moment the child comes out, he again forgets all his prayers and lives the same kind of life to get repeated birth and death again. And then we'll discuss that the Lord is situated same next to the child in womb, but the Lord is not contaminated by the three modes, or he is not affected by the material conditioning the way the Jivatma has got.
Ordinary Jiva will have to take birth again and again, but this devotee Jiva who has prayed, he will not be taking birth again. This is going to be his last birth. We discussed all three or four rather, yogi, jnani, devotee and materialistic person. So he will remember only, materialistic person will remember only his previous lives. These prayers which are there, they are exclusively of a devotee Jiva. So this is going to be his last birth, not going to take birth again momentarily, because the ways the things are in this world, he will be forgetting the Lord after he comes out of the womb. But by again associating with devotees, he will revive like that. So that I wanted to clarify, because any other?
Hare Krishna. By Lord's mercy, we got this bhakti, and especially in the text number 15, 16, 17, the points which you highlighted was very inspiring. You gave an example, the Sharanagati towards to the instructions of the spiritual master, which fructifies our bhakti, because you gave them a good analogy of rice, and which is covered with the husk, only the sprout comes up. Either empty husk doesn't give, and only the rice doesn't give that. So both should be there with complete Sharanagati. That was very inspiring for me, that I remember.
You appreciate that point so much. Okay, any other? Yes, Mitra Krishna.
It was mentioned also, like the child is not only suffering in the womb. Means the womb suffering is there, especially from the 7th month he starts experiencing and then praying. But even after the birth also there are a lot of problems. Means he wants certain things, but he may be provided with the opposite thing. Yeah. And he cannot express anything in that.
Yes.
And even after becoming little bigger, he does not want to go to school, but then he's forced to.
Yes. Any other?
Regarding the
Some others,
seriousness,
some others. Let us see some other devotees also. Somebody online?
Yes, Prabhuji, we discussed yesterday. You told us that, the question was about why after 7 months only he's trying to remember that. So it was compared to the sleeping mode susupti, the consciousness is there, but it is not yet fully developed. And after that, it starts awareness and the feeling. And then that's how he starts praying. And even if we don't remember now, at least we should pray to the
Yeah.
Lord.
Yes. Otherwise, we'll be praying in
Next womb.
womb, which we don't want to. Yes. Any other?
You told about mercy. The blessings of the Lord comes in three ways: front, side, and back. So front is what we ask, we get. Side is without asking, we are getting, and the back is, to get something
Which we don't
which we don't
expect.
expect.
Good. Yes. Yes, Sudhaman Prabhu. Yeah. Yesterday I checked in the Oxford English Dictionary about Prabhu's question. Pride and reference was required. So Oxford English Dictionary, because both are English words. Pride is what is the exact words there? Self-esteem and pride. So pride is high opinion about oneself and good opinion about oneself. Just like when when Prabhupada was asked by his godmother, maybe His Holiness Bhakti Rakshak Siddha Swami Maharaj, that who will spread this, what Guru Maharaj is saying, that this will be spread all over the world, holy name and all that. Prabhupada said, some fool in the future will do that. So who was that fool? According to Prabhupada, he himself. So this is his self-esteem. He's not taking and telling in a proud way that I will be doing it. Nor did he do that after success also. After establishing ISKCON also, he did not say this is all because my glory. He said Guru Maharaj wanted it, Mahaprabhu's desire. In fact, he says the whole of Krishna consciousness movement is under the supervision of, but in NOI, under Srila Rupa Goswami path, So giving credit to others, not taking to himself. So Prabhupada was never proud. But pride is high estimation, means high opinion about oneself. Yes, any other? Maybe Kirti Krishna Prabhu, you had something? Okay.
Prabhuji, you mentioned about the seriousness, because by Lord's mercy, actually we are the consciousness from the womb we had come. So regarding the seriousness, you mentioned about one should become more seriousness in practicing, just like we have a final exam is there, our annual exam. How will become so serious of my studying and other things. So today is my last day, so then I have to prepare for that, so that I have to become so much serious in practicing.
Serious student means for him, with the semester beginning, countdown begins.
Countdown begins.
And for all the others one, count up. Hell, बहुत समय है exam के लिए.
Yes.
कुछ चिंता नहीं, अभी तो semester शुरू हुआ है. So that kind of thinking. Yes, last point maybe.
So the child is so miserable because one of the things that whatever he undergoes, he cannot express, and people don't understand actually what he needs. So if he needs the milk, then sometimes neem juice is given. When he needs some medicine, then the milk is fed. That way he is completely miserable. And even when he grows also, it is not like the misery ends. Misery continues. Like you are giving the example of how that he is forced to go to school and he doesn't like all that. So it continues further also that.
Yes. Chai. Good. You.
In spite of such intense suffering, when the Lord is conversing with this jiva, who is the devotee jiva, then he prefers to stay in the womb rather than coming out and being captured by Maya. So although at one level there is suffering, still that suffering of being captured by Maya and being overpowered by the forgetfulness of the Lord is considered more serious than physical suffering, what he's experiencing there.
Yes.
The Tatyanukampam principle is very evident there in the prayer.
His 10 prayers only, but they are in progression. You can see first he is saying, I'm suffering here, please take me out of this place. But then afterwards he's saying, no, better be here only. So quite progress is happening quickly there. Yeah, Shakti Goswami. Yes.
Prabhuji, one side point I just wanted to mention. I found it very interesting that Prabhupada even doesn't leave opportunity here in this section to refute Mayavadis by saying that, they only accept the Shrutis and not the Smrutis. By quoting Markandeya Purana, by mentioning umbilical cord mentioned there and how modern science has confirmed, he refutes the Mayavadis claim that, Puranas are or the Smrutis are not so authentic.
Prabhupada takes the opportunity in such amazing places which we cannot imagine in the wildest of our dreams. That's why Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarani. We can see that very clearly in Prabhupada's purports. Okay, then we'll proceed further. We completed 31st as the last. So that section was, even in boyhood, he suffers due to hankering and lamentation. He continues activities that bind him again. So 32nd to 42nd, 11 verses, effects of bad association. And in that also, 32 to 34, 3 verses, talk about avoid bad association of sinful people who are dancing dogs in the hands of women. 32nd. Yadi asadbhihi pathi punaha Shishnodara krutodhyamaihi Asthito ramate jantus Tamo vishati purvavat. If therefore the living entity again associates with the path of unrighteousness, influenced by sensually minded people engaged in the pursuit of sexual enjoyment and the gratification of the palate, he again goes to hell as before. One point I forgot to mention yesterday in the prayers, who vacha? Jantur vacha, and not Jiva vacha. So he is also called as Jantu, as from here when I saw the word, I remembered Jantustamo. Because he is also born with the worms, he is also just like other worms only, unless he is he's taking shelter of the Supreme Lord. Yes. Yeah, he has come to this material world, so he has accepted this body and existence in this precarious condition of life, devoid of the Lord. So everybody will be considered like that only. So here he's saying yadi asadbihi pathi punaha. If he again gets on this path of the people who are Shishna Udara Kruta Udyamahi, the activity is centered around Shishna and Udara, genital and palate. So then he again goes to hell. You can read the purport, first paragraph.
It has been explained that the conditioned soul is put into the Andha Tamishra and Tamishra hellish conditions. And after suffering there, he gets a hellish body like the dogs or hogs. After several such births, he again comes into the form of a human being. How the human being is born is also described by Kapil Dev. The human being develops in the mother's abdomen and suffers there and comes out again. After all these sufferings, if he gets another chance in a human body and wastes his valuable time in the association of persons who are concerned with sexual life and palatable dishes, then naturally he again glides down to the same Andha Tamishra and Tamishra hells.
So whole what we have been discussing, 30th chapter, 31st chapter, and up to this point, Prabhupada has summarized it all in these few lines only. So he should not associate with such people because Jaisa Sang, Vaisa Rang. If he associates with them, then he will ruin himself. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur talks about this. Again goes to hell. So again going, he says, again means Yatana Deha. Again he'll have to accept Yatana Deha after his death. And he'll be again taken to hell, lower species, then human body again. So the cycle, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jatare Shainam. That is specifically about human birth, but in between he'll have to go through hellish planets also, Yatana Deha, lower births, etc. So it indicates that if instead of associating with sinful people, he enjoys in his life, associating with sinful people, he enjoys in his life with efforts for, what is that? To be with Krishna again, he will attain Krishna. In that case, Puravat, that word, last word, Jantustamo Vishati Puravat. Puravat means as previously described for the devotee. So earlier he had taken devotee association in previous life. That's how he prayed in the womb of the mother. So now, if he, instead of associating with sinful people, he takes the association of devotees, like devotees he took association in the earlier life, Puravat, then he will perfect his life. In the second paragraph, Prabhupada talks about how materialistic people, their life is centered around tongue, belly, genitals. They are in straight line. So, NOI Prabhupada recommends, Bhakti Thakur recommends, if one controls the tongue, the other two, belly and genitals, are automatically controlled. But if the tongue is not controlled, then the other two trouble a person. Prabhupada says to associate with such materialistic men is to commit purposeful suicide in the human form of life. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that Nishkinchanasya Bhagavat Bhajanonmukhasya Param Param Jagamishayor Bhavasagarasya Sandarshinam Athay Vishainam Athayoshitamscha Ha Hanta Hanta Vishabhakshanato Apya Sadhu. That somebody on the spiritual path, if he associates with again women and those who are attached to women, then it is worse than drinking a glass of poison. Hanta hanta vishabhakshanato apya sadhu. So it's very dangerous. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I don't mind being in a pit filled with, infested with poisonous snakes. I can be in a cage, which is set on fire. I can be in a cave with many ferocious lions. I don't mind all this, but I don't want to be associating with any materialistic person. So that is Mahaprabhu's, especially those who are on the path of spirituality, they should avoid materialistic association by all means. When he is in association with saintly persons, all his doubts about the spiritual expansion of life are eradicated, and he makes tangible progress on the path of spiritual understanding. So one should give up asatsang, but then one should take satsang. What is he saying? Tyaja durjana sansargam bhaja sadhu samagamam. Next. Kuru punyam ahoratram smaranityam anityata. Chanakya Pandit says this, isn't it? So he says, Tyaja durjana sansargam. Give up bad association. Bhaja sadhu samagamam. Worship the association of devotees of the Lord. Perform devotional service in their association. Kuru punyam ahoratram. Day and night you should do punya. Which punya? Everybody is looking at the lila of that. Which punya? Bhakti unmukh punya. Sukruti. Kuru punyam ahoratram smaranityam anityata. One should always remember the temporary nature of this material world. One should not forget that. That's why one should never try to settle in this world. Any kind of plan to settle here, whether gross or subtle, is the indication of Maya overpowering one. One should just get out of here. In fact, brahmacharis should head towards sannyas. Sannyas means civil death. So we are moving around in the society like dead bodies. Like that we should move around. There's absolutely no material desire. We are there only for the sake of Hari Guru Vaishnavas. And obviously Grihasthas also have to lead that kind of life. So absolutely no interest in material life. That kind of caliber Prabhupada expects from his followers. Jiva Goswami says, having described the fault of ordinary attachment to desire, he describes the fault of attachment to very sinful acts, asadbihi. So earlier it was general, attachment here and there, material life. But now he is talking about very dangerous attachment. As we go ahead, we will come to know. Prabhupada towards the end says, one may officially be a very religious man, but if he associates with such persons, then he's sure to slide down or glide down to the darkest region of hell if he associates with saintly people. So just superficial, if he associates with materialistic people or sinful people, then he'll glide down to darkest region of hell. So just superficially being a spiritualist is not enough. Prabhupada little bit before that, he talks about Hindus, Muslims, Christians, practitioners of such faiths. But then if they associate with sinful people, they will glide down to hell. Next. Satyam Shaucham Daya Maunam Buddhi Shrirhir Yashaha Kshama Shamodamo Bhagascheti Yatsangadyati Sankshayam. He becomes devoid of truthfulness, satyam, cleanliness, shaucham, daya, mercy. Sometimes there is one person, maybe Ramita Prabhu, if he knows, could tell, there is somebody called Punyaranya. So he says sometimes it is read as tapa, daya. Instead of that, it is said or it is written some places as tapa, which is also approved because it is one of the noble qualities. You know who is Punyaranya? Okay, somebody. It comes to 3 places like that in the commentaries. So daya is mercy, maunam, gravity, buddhi, spiritual intelligence, Ri, I think, is shyness, Shri is prosperity, then austerity, whatever the word, fame, yasha, forgiveness, kshama, control of the mind, kshama, control of the senses, dhamma, fortune, bhaga, and all such opportunities. He becomes devoid of all these things just because he associates with sinful people. You may read from that third line, the ultimate goal of life.
Ultimate goal of life is Krishna or Vishnu. But those who are addicted to sex life cannot understand that their ultimate interest is Krishna consciousness. Such people have no sense of decency. And even in public streets or public parks, they embrace each other just like cats and dogs and pass it off in the name of love making.
Yeah, so this we can see so rampant in the society and increasing day by day. So what we need is to spread Krishna consciousness more and more and make this animalistic civilization into again human civilization, and then eventually that civilization heading towards Golok Vrindavan. When His Holiness Devamrut Swami Maharaj was in Shri Radha Gopinath temple in Mumbai, he had heard in marathon days so many devotees going to Dadar station. So he was very eager. What happens at Dadar station? Why everybody goes there only? So he one day told Radhana Swami Maharaj that I want to go. So His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj said, okay, both of us will go. So both of them went. So they had been there for a few hours. Next day morning, His Holiness Devamrut Swami Maharaj was giving Bhagavatam class. He said, yesterday I had been to Dadar station because I had heard so many devotees, this thing, that thing. So I went yesterday, and what I saw there, the animals were getting human bodies. People were wondering, animals are getting human body. So many people were there, and they were touching Prabhupada books, and many were taking also. So they were heading towards animalistic life. And the other session, if you know, lakhs daily, so many, not maybe now, but earlier. So he said they were awarded human bodies. So we have to bring people back to culture by giving Prabhupada books, by giving prasad, Krishna consciousness. The way we were saved, our duty is to, in reciprocation, give it to others also. Otherwise, all these things will be reducing. Without our, we cannot do anything. By nature, it will go down only. But if we give Krishna consciousness, when Bhaktivedanta Thakur gave Prabhupada in that meeting, he said, if only you spread Krishna consciousness, this will do good to you and all those who come in touch with you. It will do good to them also. So nice. Prabhupada anyway is the best person, but in one sense it did good to him, and by spreading it, he did good to all of us, and we have to do good to others also. Teshu ashanteshu mudheshu खंडितात्म स्वसाधुषु संगम न कुर्यात् शोच्चेषु योषित क्रीडा मृगेषु च. One should not associate with a coarse fool. Ashanteshu mudheshu. Ashanteshu is coarse. Fool, is a gross fool, who is bereft of the knowledge of self-realization, and who is no more than a dancing dog in the hands of a woman. Yoshit krida mrugeshu cha. He is krida mrug, a dancing dog in the hands of a woman. Yoshit. So one should not associate with a coarse fool who is bereft of the knowledge of self-realization and who is no more than a dancing dog in the hands of a woman. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says those who destroy themselves about this khandita atmashu, bereft of self-realization. So he says those who destroy themselves because of degrading themselves, because Atma cannot be destroyed. So khandita Atma, you cannot say that Atma is only destroyed. Just like Atma Hatya word is there. What does it mean? Killing the body, because Atma also means body. It has several meaning. Atma means body, mind, intelligence, soul, super soul in different contexts. So like that he explains. And cha is explained as, it indicates a sadhu, and it indicates playthings of women, and one should not associate with them. Yes, read the purport.
The restriction of association with such foolish persons is especially meant for those who are in the line of advancement in Krishna consciousness. Advancement in Krishna consciousness involves developing the quality of truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, gravity, intelligence, and spiritual knowledge. Simplicity, material opulence, fame, forgiveness, and control of the mind and the sense. All these qualities are to be manifested with the progress of Krishna consciousness. But if one associate with a Shudra, a foolish person, who's like a dancing dog in the hands of a woman, then he cannot make any progress.
So we have several examples. Ajamil was such a noble Brahmin, that too, whatever you can say, yugas before in Satyayug. But then just he saw one bad scene, a man, low class man embracing a prostitute, and how he lost all these qualities, truthfulness, forgiveness, everything he lost. That's why one has to be extremely careful. And one devotee was telling, as far as distribution of Krishna consciousness goes, a devotee, as far as distribution goes, he is indiscriminate. But while taking, he is very selective. So we can distribute Krishna consciousness to one and all, but while taking in means all this kind of thing, dirty things in the society today. We have to be very selective, otherwise we will get contaminated. So doesn't mean that we should not go out, not that kind of fear, but we have to be careful. We should not be fearful, we should be careful not to take in such kind of dirty things. That's our best way of defense, is to attack. So that's why we should distribute books, we should give holy name, do whatever, chant loudly, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Because as long as we are not in touch with the Shabda Brahma in whatever form, Krishna Katha, Krishna Kirtan, etc., Krishna Nam, Maya gets in. That will be explained ahead, how she comes very gently without our knowledge. So we should. That's why many people say also, these ISKCON people, they don't keep quiet. Wherever they go, their presence is vibrantly felt. And that is good. That has to be like that. Else we'll be getting attacked by Maya. That doesn't mean that we are, unreasonable, or in a sense, if somebody is disturbed, somebody is sick, There also we create noise, means not like that. We take care there, but otherwise it is very much required. Otherwise, Maya will in return attack us only. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says this 32 to 34, he's talking about who is bad association. It's all that is told. And one should, Lord Kapil Dev is forbidding us from associating with such people. Sinful people attached to women. 35 to 42 talks about, these verses talk about beware of opposite sex. Somewhere it was also written, be aware of opposite sex. So we should be aware also what is the power of opposite sex. And then beware. Sadhu, saudhan, like that. All sadhus need to be extremely cautious in their dealings with women. So this section talks about beware of opposite sex, because even Brahma got carried away, great kings have been destroyed. A woman is considered a gateway to hell. Except for Lord Narayan, nobody is free from the enchantment towards women. And also towards the end it is said, for a woman, man is Maya. Whatever a man may think about woman, similarly, woman also has to think about man. Whenever the relationship is materialistic. In a Krishna conscious things, we have to be cautious. Man-women dealing should be very carefully exercised. So that whole thing is very nicely put up over here. Tatatasya bhavain moho bandhaschanya prasangataha yoshit sangad yatha pumso yatha tatsangi sangataha. The infatuation and bondage which accrue to a man from attachment to any other object is not as complete as that resulting from attachment to a woman or to the fellowship of men who are fond of women. Of the two, Yoshit Sangha and Sangi Sangha, which is more dangerous? Sangi Sangha is more dangerous. Because Yoshit Sangha, especially because of practices and spiritual touch, scriptural touch, we may know danger of associating with women, but we may not be careful about associating with the men who are attached to women. In their association, we may be a little careless and we'll get highly infected. So one has to be extremely careful of that. Read the purport. Mic is there, na? There's another mic will be there.
Attachment to women is so contaminating that one becomes attached to the condition of material life, not only by the association of women, but by the contaminated association of persons who are too attached to them. There are many reasons for our conditional life in the material world, but the topmost of all such cause is the association of women, as will be confirmed in the following stanzas. In Kali Yuga, association with women is very strong. In every step of life, there is association with women. If a person goes to purchase something, the advertisements are full of pictures of women.
I'll tell you one such advertisement I saw in Mumbai, it is near Shishirada Gopinath temple, huge billboard. I was looking at it and I was wondering what is it basically. It was about Reliance Mobile. I was wondering what is it showing. So what was shown there, that a woman was sitting on the coach, some kind of sofa or something. She was sitting and she was looking in her mirror. But like we have that Ban Bihari, like that, it was a bit tilted mirror. And what was the reflection she was seeing? A man with Reliance Mobile. That means if you have Reliance Mobile, even the girl who is very shy, very modest and very nice girl, even she will be tempted to look at you, even at least indirectly. Anyway, many girls are shameless and she was surely a shameless girl. But anyway, because if you see her dress and all, but even everybody will be tempted to look at you, if not directly, at least indirectly. So much you should have Reliance Mobile. So that is advertised. So it took little time for me to understand what kya hai kya usme. But I understood then. So very subtle, and in fact, many times gross way also. They'll show a car with 4 women, 2 on top, 1 here, 1 there. That means if you purchase this car, 4 women you get freely. So wow, very good. So very crazy world. And unfortunately, many people fall prey to this. They feel it is true. I should take this particular object, then I'll be very happy in life because I'll get women in with that. Yes.
The physiological attraction for women is very great, and therefore people are very slack in spiritual understanding. The Vedic civilization, being based on spiritual understanding, arranges association with women very cautiously. Out of the 4 social divisions, the members of the first order, namely Brahmacharya, the third order Vanaprastha, and the fourth order Sannyas, are strictly prohibited from female association. Only in one order, the householder is there licensed to mix with women under restricted conditions. In other words, attraction for women's association is the cause of the material conditional life, and anyone interested in being freed from this conditional life must detach himself from the association of women.
Prabhupada says in one place, the thought of sex life is never away from the thought, from the mind of a conditioned soul. Always is there. Sex life, sex life, sex life. In fact, the whole material world is rotating around sex life only. Just imagine, no offense to any Mataji, if there were no women on this planet Earth, would there be any endeavor for economic development? Absolutely not. Huh? No, in case you already came. I'm just saying, you understand why so much people are working hard only for sex only. If only sex is removed, then there will be no impetus in their life to go for economic development, for car, building. Absolutely not like that. So it's all because of the women, or for women, men, either way. So it is said for behind every successful man, there is hand of a woman. That is in a very nice way. Chaste woman is there like that. So once His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj was asked, so behind the successful life of brahmacharis, is there hand of any woman? And Maharaj said, yes. Whose hand? Srimati Radharani ki. So as much as we are completely engrossed in devotional service personified by Srimati Radharani, that much we will also be very active, but without the contamination of lust. And that's what we can see in all devotees' lives. As much as they're active in Krishna consciousness, that much they are free from sexual attraction. Even grahasthas, they are like that. So what is required is giving test for Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada, that's what he wanted. He wanted it to spread. More and more people should come. As much as we give Krishna consciousness, we don't have to worry so much about negativity. Negativity will reduce. Even the attraction to the opposite sex will automatically reduce. If only we are careful to give Krishna consciousness. The positive side should be stressed a lot. Otherwise, too much, detachment. But first, attachment to Krishna. That should be stressed a lot. Otherwise, because of the attachment to women, people become crazy in this world. One devotee was telling that once one man was taken to lunatic asylum, and there in one section he found a man. He was saying, Laila, Laila, Laila. And man was surprised. So the supervisor told, basically he was in love with one girl called Laila. But unfortunately, she left him. And this fellow became mad. He's admitted here. So, very bad. Then he went to the next section. There was another man there saying, Laila, Laila, Laila. This man was surprised. He is also having same name. So he asked, supervisor said, he is the one whom she married. So one went mad because he could not get her. Another went mad because of getting her. So woman is pramada. She makes one mad. Nanu agni pramada nama vritakumbha samapuman. Sutam api raho jaya yavadanyata artakrit. Maybe in the 9th canto or somewhere it is said, Nanu agni pramada nama. Indeed, she is called as pramada, one who makes a man mad. He goes crazy. Ghrutakumbha samapuman. Man is like pot of ghee. And if the ghee is taken close to fire, she is considered compared to fire. Then what happens? immediately starts melting. His Holiness Radhan Swami Maharaj was telling that even if the ghee or butter is kept in the refrigerator for 20 years, we can say deep freezer, not just freeze, deep freezer we have here, isn't it? So in that it is kept, and you take it out after 20 years, it is like rock solid, and you bring it close to fire, immediately starts melting. More you bring closer, more melting. You keep it on it, they all be liquid only. So that is the power of this, Maya, Shakti in the form of a woman. So we are all weak in the material world. When we are in the association of women, we weaker of ourselves comes out. And in the close proximity with the women, especially in seclusion, the weakest of oneself will come out. That's why by all means scriptures forbid. Matra, swastra, duhitra va, nav avikta sano bhavet, balvan indriya gramo, vidvamsam api karshati. One should not even sit in seclusion with one's own mother, one's sister, or one's daughter, because these indriyas are so powerful that even a person of discrimination, vidvamsam api karshati, he will be attracted. And there have been so many cases in the world, people going crazy. Prabhupada was once with Brahmanand Prabhu in his room. Brahmanand Prabhu was asking him something. Suddenly, Prabhupada's sister came in, Pishima. She came inside, and Prabhupada's sister, and she doesn't discriminate all these things. So she immediately started speaking to Prabhupada in Bangla. So they were going on, 5 minutes passed by, 10 minutes. Then Brahman Prabhu thought brothers and sisters are talking, and that in Bangla I cannot understand. Better I push off. I have so many other services also to do. Afterwards, I will meet Prabhupada. So as he was proceeding, immediately Prabhupada said, Brahmanand, be here, stay with me. So he stayed, Guru Agya, like that. After Mataji spoke and left, then Prabhupada said, Matra, Swastra, Duhitra va, na avivikta sunabhavet. And Brahman Prabhu, when he saw afterwards the meaning, he was shocked. Prabhupada was saying that one should not be alone even with one's sister, mother, or daughter. So Prabhupada was following so seriously, and he was surprised that how Prabhupada follows very meticulously. So one has to know, we are weak. Anybody who thinks that he is very powerful, he has been a brahmachari for several years and he can be alone with women, he is a coarse fool. He'll become a dancing dog afterwards. It's very, very dangerous. One should never give in to such thoughts even. Forget about in action. So it's very powerful energy as it is revealed eventually also.
The question?
Okay. One point, Jiva Goswami says the fault is explained. By association, one develops desires similar to the other person. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. So one should be careful. Yes.
The question is like here it was told in one purport earlier that for men, woman is Maya, and for men, woman is Maya. But throughout the scripture, we say the warning is more given to men to be aware. And in the scriptures, in many sections like Ajamil, Yayati, and others, Purarava and all, they fall prey to women. But this Maya is for both. So why we find not warning given more for women?
Because
also?
Man is more aggressive. His weakness is his eyes. So just by seeing the opposite sex, a man starts melting because the contact happens of the senses with the sense object. Whereas women, ears are weak. When they hear the melodious voice of the man, then they get distracted. As it will be revealed, how a deer gets completely stunned when she hears the sound of hunter playing on flute. So that sweet music is very melodious to the ears of deer. So similarly, women, by hearing, that's why those who are very melodious singers, so they can be trapped by some Mataji. They have to be extremely careful. Once I was seeing one particular devotee, and he was being told by another senior devotee, Maharaj, this particular devotee, when he starts leading kirtan, all the Mataji dance in ecstasy. And then immediately the Maharaj said, oh, Prabhu, wow, you have achieved perfection. And immediately he took the shelter of the Guru's lotus feet and said, Maharaj, please protect me, Maharaj. Please protect me. He said, be careful. Like that. So many Mataji are dancing when you start singing like that. So That doesn't mean that you should not lead Kirtan. You can lead Kirtan, but for the pleasure of Shishi Radha Vrindavan Chandra, not for the pleasure of some others. Yes.
This was in regard to Prabhupada's example about Pishima. We have heard it previously also. However, what happens that in a broad context, there are examples which are Shastrically, this verse is fully applicable. So there's nothing to dispute about Shastra. But I wanted to understand a broad context in which how to actually quote examples because, for example, Srila Prabhupada on Janaki Mataji's wedding, Yamuna Mataji came and Prabhupada was teaching her how to make pudis.
Yeah.
And it looks like that it was not a public function. It was like one-on-one. Similarly, Mahaprabhu also, when he came back at Shantipur, he sat in the lap of his mother that is being described in Chaitanya Bhagavat.
Shachi Mata.
Yeah, Sachi Mata. So on one hand, we tend to kind of, like principle is principle.
Yes.
But that explanation in a broadness, how to actually make it, especially for this principle only, because there are instances and examples when it is not exactly a violation because there are certain conditions in which things are done.
True.
But at the same time, for example, Pishima's thing only, it has been something, Prabhupada did. But if we take that only, then there are so many things where we can find fault also.
It will be after we discuss the whole section, you would be clearer with the whole thing. Just like Haridas Thakur example is there. He preached to a prostitute for 3 consecutive nights, all alone, absolutely no one around. But he did not fall prey. So the great souls can do such things. Teji asamna doshaya. We should not see faults in them. So in the early days, when Janaki Mataji was getting married, that time ISKCON was in the budding stage. Hardly anyone. So this Mataji, young girl, Yamuna, when she was there, so Prabhupada was teaching her, and Prabhupada is a very exalted personality. He cannot be distracted by any of those things. Those thoughts even won't touch him like that. But here, when Brahmanand Prabhu is there, he is teaching his disciples. Yadyada acharati sreshtas. And through him, to all of us also, how we have to be extremely cautious in our dealings with women, even if they happen to be in the bodies of mother, sister, or daughter. So that is the thing. And second example you gave?
Mahaprabhu and Sachi.
Mahaprabhu, so she is mother only, and that was in public only, in Advaita Acharya's house in Shantipur. So in fact, he says also that, I went mad, and in my madness, I took sannyas. I please beg forgiveness from you. Now, if you desire, I can come back home. He is never going to do that. And he knows Mother Sachi will never allow that, because that will be, people will, the ruination, reputation will be ruined. So he says all that. So that is fine. It is in public. It's not a problem. Prabhupada, for that matter, told this one, Brahmanand Prabhu and Garga Muni Prabhu, in their initiation ceremony, touch the lotus feet of yours mother, because she is the one produced. And in public, they touched her lotus feet, and she was so happy. What is that? So in public, there is no problem as far as mother and thing, and even sister or daughter. But in seclusion, one has to be careful like that. That is the point. And with great souls, we should never see faults, like our Haridas Thakur. For that matter, Narad Muni also, after delivering Kayadu from the hands of demigods who were kidnapping her, etc. So he took her to the Badrika ashram, to his ashram, and only 2 of them. But he can do that, we cannot do that. It is for common people. It is not for exalted personalities. And they are also cautious, very carefully, especially, they know. Like Jaimini story, we all know. He said, what is the problem? Woman and all that. And Vasudev personally wanted to teach him. He took the form of a woman and all those kind of things. We all know the details. And then Jaimini understood. Ooh, very dangerous. And that to now in front of Guru Maharaj in the form of woman, Vasudev. So we have to know this principle is the principle, eternal principle. And what is my level? At least one should safely conclude, I am very weak. I cannot deal with this fire in seclusion, especially in public with etiquettes, etc. One could deal with. That's what he says also. Sutamapu raho jayat. One should be from Suta, from one's daughter also. One should keep distance. Yavad anyatha arthakrit. One's contact with the opposite sex should be only as much as required for the service. That is the point. Yavad anyatha arthakrit. Like that, because we will also have to deal with Matajis here in the whatever temple, ashram, so many places here around, because we have so many congregation Matajis around. So one has to be extremely cautious. One cannot be casual. It will lead to casualty. Those who had been like that, they met with severe consequences, and so many people are lamenting. One man going mad, one brahmachari going crazy, so, and that is all because of slackness only. We have personally eyewitnessed this, how a person becomes slack and then goes crazy. So it has to be, one has to know for himself, safeguard oneself, and also help others who are ready to be helped, like that. Sometimes we have failed to help some people. Unfortunate it was. We cautioned them, take care, Prabhu. You are going in a very dangerous zone. But वो माता जी उनको हमें ही तो गाइडेंस देना पड़ता है ना. Why not? The husband is there. Why are you going directly to Mataji? Husband is a devotee, 16 rounder. No, but then so many deadly things happen. One has to be extremely cautious. Warning is there for everyone. No exception, as it will be revealed over few slokas next. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Even association of women is condemned in scripture, but still women got respect in different yugas. There are so many examples in scripture. Then why we blame women or association or association instead of respect? Like instead of blaming women, one can consider them as mother, her as mother, as Lakshman considers Sita as mother.
Yeah, we are not here to condemn any Mataji. Nobody can condemn any member of the opposite sex. In fact, nobody should condemn anyone. Everybody should be respecting others. Amanina, manadena. But the principle has to be followed. So those, our attachment to women is condemned. That's why yavad anyata arthakrut. One can associate with women only as required for service. And a man who is married to that woman, he can, for the sake of procreation, he can also physically associate for that reason only after Garbhadan Sanskar. And every other man, apart from that woman's husband, he has to be extremely cautious. He has to respect her. He may have to deal with her for the service of the Lord or whatever the mission, but he should know that I am weak. I should not get carried away. And she should also be careful. She should be chaste. She should follow the principles like that. And husband should also be careful. Sometimes the husbands of the Matajis are so, अरे वो तो ब्रह्मचारी के साथ है. We have heard so many times, ब्रह्मचारी के साथ है, मेरी पत्नी तो सबसे safe है. Would be in the most dangerous hands. So he is very naive, kind of. So that should not be like that. Husband should take responsibility that my wife is there with her brahmachari, so I should be there, to protect both of them, like that. Not just with the, what you call, crooked eyes, he should keep looking here and there, but the principle has to be followed. Always there should be 3 members, at least 1 Prabhu and 2 Matajis, or 2 Prabhus, 1 Mataji. No question of 1 Prabhu, 1 Mataji. Otherwise, butter and fire principle. So everybody has to be careful, else danger is there. Any other? No. So we'll go ahead. Prajapatihi swam duhitaram दृष्ट्वा तद्रूपधर्षितः रोहिद्भूतां सु अन्वधावत् रुक्षरूपी हतत्रपः. At the sight of his own daughter, Brahma was bewildered by her charms and shamelessly ran up to her in the form of a stag when she took the form of a hind, whatever it is. So example Prabhupada gives of Brahmaji getting captivated by his daughter, walk, and Shivji getting attracted to Mohini. Ahead you can read, even great demigods. Even great demigods.
Even great demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva What to speak of ordinary conditioned souls are captivated by beauty of woman. Therefore, everyone is advised that one should not freely mix even with one's own daughter or with one's mother or with one's sister, because the senses are so strong that when one becomes infatuated, the senses do not consider the relationship of daughter, mother, or sister. It is best, therefore, to practice controlling the senses by performing bhakti yoga, engaging in the service of Madana Mohan. Lord Krishna's name is Madan Mohan, for he can subdue the god Cupid or lust. Only by engaging in the service of Madan Mohan can one curb the dictates of Madana Cupid. Otherwise, attempts to control the senses will fail.
Yeah. One devotee said, what he said precisely, I'm not remembering. Somebody can help me. That Prabhupada, lust is not a problem for me. Prabhupada said, call a doctor. I said, Prabhupada, not what, miss, what? He did not understand. Prabhupada, I think I don't have a problem with lust. Prabhupada said, call a doctor. That means this crazy fellow has gone crazy. He's gone mad. He's thinking lust is not a problem for him. We can call a doctor. So we can take shelter of Srila Prabhupada, who said, who is this Mr. Lust? I'll kick him with my boots on his face only. Like that. And Prabhupada, that one airport, when received by so many thousands, hundreds of devotees, then he said that, you know why these people are bowing down to me? Because I have controlled sex life. Personal servant felt, wow, great. But then after they came to temple, Prabhupada took darshan and he was murmuring something. The disciple went close and heard Prabhupada saying, oh Lord, your Maya Shakti is so powerful. Please protect me. And he was wondering, what is this? And he asked Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, because I pray like this, that's why I can be free from sexual attraction. Prabhupada also said that even if I am in a room filled with naked women, I won't be disturbed. But not that he ever did that. He was very careful. He was perfect gentleman. Somebody in our Pune only years before said so. And his foolish disciples thought, wow, let us show to the whole world the greatness of our spiritual master. And they arranged for that. Next day morning, the fellow came out saying, from sex to trance, sambhog se samadhi tak. Whole philosophy changed. And the sannyasi there, the qualification is HIV negative. Then only you can get sannyas. Huh? Aish. Everybody knows. Nobody is unaware. Nobody is aware like that. So take care. So engaging in the service of Madan Mohan, his Sambandha Vigraha also. So we should acquire knowledge and pray to Lord Madan Mohan to get rid of this menace in our lives. Okay, we'll take a break for 5 minutes, then we'll resume. None but the sage Narayan is immune to the attraction of Maya in the form of woman. So words of Lord Kapila Dev. Nobody is free from womanly attraction. Maya in the form of woman. I hope Matajis understand, those who are online. We are not against Matajis. We are respect them very much. When His Grace Govind Prabhu, Gaurang Prabhu, some 2 or 3 of them were going to abroad for the first time. They took shelter of His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj. Said, Maharaj, how would we be protected there? West, we have heard, very dangerous. The women are very, whatever, scantily dressed. So then Maharaj said, go to all our senior Matajis in the congregation, like Har Grace Palika Mataji and so many others, and bow down to their lotus feet and ask them for their prayers. By their prayers, because they are chaste ladies, by their blessings, nothing will happen to you in the West. You will not, you'll be safe. So they went one by one, whosoever was there. And so they paid obeisance, and immediately the Mataji felt, oh, Prabhu, what are you doing? You know, we should pay obeisances to you. You know, you're so senior. And I said, no, Mataji, we are going to West. And Maharaj told us personally that we should seek your blessings. By your blessings, we would be protected there. So who are we, Prabhu? What, you know? They were feeling embarrassed. What is this? But they blessed anyway, you know, and they came back safely like that. So very dangerous. So by the blessings of chaste ladies, one becomes empowered in one's own brahmacharya, whether he is a brahmachari in brahmacharya ashram or in grahastha ashram, vanaprastha ashram or sannyasi ashram, or a girl brahmacharini ashram, or Mataji, she is also in brahmacharini. So everybody will be protected by the blessings of chaste ladies. So here Jiva Goswami says, who has intelligence undisturbed by Maya, if he is unattached to Narayan? Narayanam Rute. Rute means without. So if one is not attached to Lord Narayan, who has intelligence which will be undisturbed by Maya? That means if one is not attached to Narayan, one's intelligence will be disturbed by Maya. Prabhupada talks about first created beings like Brahma, Marichi, Kashyap Muni, and Manus, demigods, human beings. But there is none among them who is not attracted by the spell of Maya in the form of woman. Throughout the entire material world, beginning from Brahma down to the small, insignificant creatures like the ant, everyone is attracted by sex life. That is the basic principle of this material world. Lord Brahma's being attracted to his daughter is the vivid example that no one is exempt from sexual attraction to woman. Woman, therefore, is the wonderful creation of Maya to keep the conditioned soul in shackles. So wonderful is Vichitra. Vichitra means colorful. Once in one plane, one man was telling, somehow I happened to hear, you know, he was talking on phone. अरे ये सब लेडीज को देखो, हमेशा कलरफुल साड़ियाँ या कपड़े पहनते हैं, कभी लाल, कभी नीला, कभी पीला, और हम लोग मेन यानी, you know, हम तो अपना प्लेन एकदम वाइट, नहीं तो क्रीम, थोड़ा ऑफ वाइट, you know, तो ये बहुत he was speaking in a jovial way, but I happened to hear the women, Vichitra, wonderful creation of Maya. So that wonderful creation, otherwise also one would be attracted, what to speak, when they wear very colorful dresses and all that. The man is bound to get attracted. So wonderful is colorful also, Vichitra, and other is strange also. So both ways. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, one should not misunderstand that Narayan is created by Brahma, because the way the words are, amongst all kinds of living entities begotten by Brahma. All are begotten by Brahma except one person, Narayan. So that means he is begotten by Brahma, but he is exception. It is not like that. So one should not misunderstand it in that way. That is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's clarification. Narayan is the source of Brahma also. But the words, yeah, but then he is also not creation of Brahma. He is the Supreme Lord only. Next. Balam me pasya maya yaha strimaya jaino disham ya karoti padakrantan bhruvijrumbhena kevalam. Just try to understand the mighty strength of my Maya in the shape of woman, who by the mere movement of her eyebrows can keep even the greatest conquerors of the world under her grip. Who is saying? Lord Kapil Dev. To whom is he saying? Mother Devoti. So just see. So that makes it clear that how this knowledge is for everyone. It's not only for males. He's cautioning her, and by the way, she is elderly. And after this, only next chapter also we'll see. She perfects her life, goes back to Godhead also. But through her, we are all cautioned that take care. So balam me pashyamaya, just see my potency in the form of woman. So woman who kicks the king into submission just by the movement of her eyebrows. Kevalam bhruvijumbrena, like that. So sometimes you must have seen, the powerful ruler or somebody, he captures another powerful ruler, and then he just tells him, bow down at my feet. He may indicate through some means like that. Like that, woman will just indicate with her eyebrow only. You have to bow down to my foot, and then he has to bow down. That is the power of woman. Ya karoti pada krantan. Those who have conquered the whole world, they have to bow down. Who says like that? Once somebody said in the scriptures. Muchukunda, when he was talking to Lord in the, what do you call that, cave. So he said, I come in Mandata's family, isn't it? And all they have been very powerful kings and all that, though I am not so powerful and all that. So while speaking there ahead, he says that when I enter in the woman's chamber, even powerful kings, he doesn't talk about himself, I think, in general, when they enter after conquering the whole world, when they enter in the inner chambers of the wife, then they become dancing dogs. They have to bend down to them and completely become subservient. Kevalam, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, with certainty. This is for sure. Even very powerful person controlling, conquering the whole world, he has to bow down to his wife or some woman like that. So he says, in inner chamber of the woman, she says, giving me up, you go out to conquer, to enjoy other women? What a rascal. Hinting this with a movement of their eyebrows, women kick the men who bow down to them in submission. So women can literally kick the man. You want sex pleasure from me? Bow down to my foot. Like that. How dare of you to leave me and go to some other woman in the endeavor to conquer the whole world. So because he is a dancing dog, he has to accept. He will have to bow down and surrender to her. That's why Krishna also, in that something like that, we know once, he bowed down to Srimati Radharani when she was angry because of some mischief on his part. So then she was not agreeing only. Ultimately, Krishna bent down to her feet, and then begged forgiveness like that. When Jaydev Goswami was given this revelation, he was hesitating to write. How can I write like this? And how can the Supreme Lord bow down like that to his own pleasure potency? So then he left for taking bath. Then Krishna personally came as Jaydev Goswami, and he completed the lines. Yes. How Krishna, that means Krishna only, is writing in the form of Jaydev Goswami. Bent down and begged forgiveness. And then afterwards, Jaydev Goswami came to know. He saw the beautiful handwriting. Then he understood, yes, Krishna only came like that. So we have to bow down to Krishna, who bows down to devotional service in the form of Srimati Radharani. That means we have to always be subservient to devotional practices. Then we won't be affected by this powerful potency, the most powerful potency in the whole world. Maya's supreme form in the form of woman, one can overcome by taking shelter of Madan Mohan and Madan Mohan Mohini. How many of you seen that video movie on Vishakanya? Vishakanya means not Vishakanya, that woman, or what, I don't know what to call it. Others have not seen. A man goes with I think axe in his hand, and then he goes and he finds so many statues over there, but headless statues. Like, I was wondering what is this, and then there comes what do you call, Naga Kanya kind of thing, Naga Kanya, and she comes and all that happens. Radhivati Prabhu is requesting for showing. Okay, no problem. Those who have not seen, please have a look. What happens, how she gives some jewel in his hand, and he's so happy. And then she's an Kanya, backside tail kind of thing, touches him, and wherever it touches, makes it into stone. And eventually his head also becomes stone. And then she just leaves that place. While leaving, just looks back with the end of her tail. The head is thrown off of that actual room she shows. Okay, you remember that also. So those who have not seen, please see. I gave the audio trailer, but you should see the video like that. And Vishakanyas were also like that. Powerful ruler. You cannot conquer him by any other means. So in the dead of night, midnight, just send one Vishakanya. Vishakanyas are the girls from childhood only. They are raised by feeding them little quantity of poison, by which they don't die also, but they become so poisonous, and they would enter in the dead night, and the man would feel, the ruler would feel, wow, such a woman coming to me only. And she would come close and just kiss him. One kiss, and his life is miss. Gone. So last kiss of his life. So one should be very careful. Read the purport.
There are many instances in the history of the world of a great conqueress being captivated by the charms of Cleopatra. One has to study the captivating potency of women and man's attraction for that potency. From what sources was this generated?
So it is said that even a room filled with sannyasis, if a woman enters, they are aware that she is there. So that is the potency. So nobody can be, what you call, unmindful towards their presence. The presence is very powerfully felt. So one has to be extremely cautious. Yes.
According to Vedanta Sutra, we can understand that everything is generated from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is enunciated there, Janmadi Yasyeta, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1. This means that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or the Supreme Person, Brahman, the Absolute Truth, is a source from whom everything emanates. The captivating power of women and the man's susceptibility to such attraction must also exist in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the spiritual world, and must be represented in the transcendental pastimes of the Lord.
Yeah, so there then Prabhupada talks about this is there in the Lord also. And that who is that captivating potency for the Lord?
Srimati
Radharani. That Prabhupada tells. So we know about Risheshringa also. Vibhandak Muni, he was allured by one Apsara, and through the union with her, he produced, Risheshringa was produced. But immediately after giving birth, she just left. He developed so much aversion towards women in general. He said, for whole of his life, my son will never be exposed to any woman. And he trained him in the deepest of the forest. But then Rompad Maharaj, in his kingdom, there was a drought. And then it was told by astrologers, etc. If only Vibhandak Rishi's son, Risheshringa, who is trained as a very powerful brahmachari, if only is brought here, and performs a sacrifice, then only rains would be there. So how to get him? Vibhandak Rishi has kept such a tight security. Nobody can go near him also. They said, no problem. We'll ensure that. And when Vibhandak Rishi was not there, somehow gone to forest once, that is the time when some girls were sent there, who were dressed as Muni Kumaras, Rishi Kumaras, like males. And this person who had never seen woman in whole life, he was wondering, oh, how beautiful are these Rishi Kumaras? And he welcomed them, as is the tradition. And they said, he said, who are you? So we are Rishi Kumaras. Our father's hermitage is nearby only, opposite the, what you call, river and all that. So, okay, and this and that. So could we play? Because they're children kind of, he's 12, 15-year-old. Let us play. And he said, okay. He was completely charmed by their beauty and all that speech, sweet speech. And they started playing, and while playing, they just caught his hand, some girl, and pressed it, and somebody embraced him. And he was like whole 22,000 volt passing through his whole body. He was like, he was not understanding how powerful are these Rishi Kumaras. Even I don't have such power like that. But then they left. As soon as in the evening, Vibhandak Rishi saw his son, Risheshring, immediately understood. Dal mein kuch kala hai. He said, son, who came here today? So some Rishi Kumaras came. So how were they looking? They were very beautiful. And then what they did? We played. What they did while playing? They pressed my hand. He understood. This is some very dangerous thing happening. He said, son, never associate with them in future again. Like that, So he said, yes, Papa. But then after some days, again Vibhanda Krushi left. They again came. And this time they proposed, why don't you come to our hermitage also? It's very nice, beautiful. You could also come. So he was completely charmed. He said, okay. And they sat in the boat. As soon as he reached the other side, which was Rompad Maharaj kingdom, by his touching of the foot only, there were rains. And what to speak when sacrifice was performed by Dashrath Maharaj, and then Ram, Lakshman, Shatrugna, and Bharat were born. So Vimanda Krushi was upset by this, but then he understood also this is not the way to train a brahmachari by making him not see women. So one has to know also. That's why be aware of Maya in the form of women, and then beware, like that. So both have to be known. Vidyam cha vidyam cha. Both sides should be known. When he wants to be attracted by a woman, a man, he has to create such a woman. Lord. He has to create such a woman from his own energy, and that woman is Radharani. Thus, the tendency to be attracted by womanly beauty is natural because it exists in the spiritual world. In the material world, it is reflected pervertedly, and therefore there are so many inebrities. Even Rupa Goswami Path says it's natural for a young boy to get attracted to a young girl, So that he personally says that. So that's why one should not identify oneself as a young man. So we are Prakruti, like that. So more we are like Prakruti in that consciousness, so more we'll be safe from this powerful principle in the creation of the Lord. Instead of being attracted by material beauty, if one is accustomed to be attracted by the beauty of Radharani and Krishna, then the statement of Bhagavad Gita, Param Drishta Nivatate, holds true. When one is attracted by the transcendental beauty of Radha and Krishna, he is no longer attracted by material feminine beauty. That is the special significance of Radha Krishna worship. So we are very fortunate. Prabhupada has given that. Once one Mataji in the congregation, means young girl, wrote a letter to His Grace Jannivas Prabhu that, I lost my heart to you. I have given my heart to you. Yes, I love you. I want to have you as my husband. And then he, maybe through letter, he told that I have already given my heart to Shishi Radha Madhav. How can I give heart? And there is no heart there. Like that. So this is what is very important, that we give our heart to Shishi Radha Vrindavan Chandra. Then there will be no heart left for in case some proposal comes. And proposals do come. I got 8 calls by a girl on Bhaktivinoda Thakur's disappearance day, not the latest one, 3-4 years back. And I said, are you SSD? Are you SSD? Nobody will say SSD. I said, yes, Mataji. Mataji, I am a young girl. I thought, okay, some outside girl. So I cannot call her Mataji. I said, okay, so what do you want? Are you the one who runs that small book contest like that? I said, yes. Okay, and then phone cut. I was wondering what. After some moments, again another phone. Are you SSD? Again she reconfirmed. So then like that, Then I understood she's doing my follow. Then I learned from one devotee how to record the mobile, call like that. So he taught me, and we did demo also. Then sure enough, third call came, and then you smiled at me. I said, which day? Bhaktivinoda Thakur's disappearance day. I said, what else? Then you were singing bhajan there. I said, which bhajan? She could not recollect, I knew for sure I was not there on Bhaktivinoda Thakur's disappearance day, but I did not tell her. I was just investigating what all is there. Who is the brahmachari who smiled, or what happened, like that. So then after 2 days, this was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, again she called 2 times. So she said, शादी करूंगी तो आपसे ही करूंगी प्रभु जी. This was the culmination. शादी करूंगी तो आपसे ही करूंगी. मैं बोला, अच्छा आपकी उम्र कितनी है? बोले 21. आपको हमारी उम्र पता है क्या? वो डर गई. बाप रे. Because the brahmachari she was describing has, I think, quite visibly white hair, means when the hair grow little bit. तो थोड़ा डर गई कि अगर कहीं 40-45 का होगा ये ब्रह्मचारी, तो सब लड़कियां मेरी फ्रेंड मेरे ऊपर हंसेंगे. अरे क्या पागल, इफ यू वांटेड टू हंट अ ब्रह्मचारी ओनली, थोड़ा जवान नहीं मिला क्या? ये बूढ़े को क्यों स्वीकार किया? तो वो चुप हो गई, फिर उसके बाद कॉल ही नहीं आया. But afterwards I gave the recordings, 6 recordings I have. So I gave to one of our TMCs. Said, देखो थोड़ा cautious, वो ब्रह्मचारी ये है. सब description मैंने I found out all the description. I did not tell her only that I am not that. I know ठीक है और क्या, आप ये बैग कैरी करते, बोला हाँ और क्या बताओ, तो बता रही थी सब description. Then I understood who is the brahmachari. I told also our TMC, and he heard and all that. But then he said, no, whatever it is, we cannot tell that brahmachari. But she was after you. She wanted to hunt you down. I said, I don't think so. She was not after me. The whole problem of the brahmachari smiled. That brahmachari, this brahmachari, the recording reveals everything very clearly. But anyway, no action was taken. Anyway, that brahmachari has gone. But the point is, I found out, I threw one congregation member because I had her number. 6-8 calls came. So I told one congregation member, find out karo ye hai kaun girl. So he found out and he told that her father is some police or havaldar like that. havaldar ki beti chori kar rahi hai. हमें चोरी करने का प्रयास कर रही, तो no problem. You know, Krishna saved by all of your blessings. मैं भूल ही गया था कि हमारे सबसे बड़े इंस्पेक्टर तो बाजू में ही बैठे. इंस्पेक्टर उनको नंबर नहीं दिया, उनको वो रिकॉर्डिंग दिए. ठीक है चलो. So but sadhu, सावधान, be careful, reserve yourself, full reservation for Shishi Radha Vrindavan Chandra. Don't allow any what do you call that, RAC and wedding list anywhere as far as is possible. Prabhupada quotes Yamunacharya, यदवधि मम चेत कृष्ण पदारविंदे नव नवरसधाम्नि उद्यतं रन्तुमासीत् तदवधिवत नारी संगमे स्मर्यमाणे भवति मुख विकारं शुष्टु निष्ठीवनं च. That ever since I'm engaged in Krishna consciousness, he was the king, having exposure to so many women, young women for enjoyment. But now as is a sannyasi, he is saying, whenever the thought of sex life comes, my what do you call, lips curl in distress and I spit at the very thought. What a powerful personality, Yamunacharya. We can pray at his lotus feet also, that he could spit at the thought of sex life, despite having so much exposure before his becoming sannyasi. So we can pray to Ramanujacharya also, we can pray to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So for protection, there are enough measures. If we want, there are enough things, enough personalities. And also, one should never disrespect women. One should always respect women, even if they have some ill motive. Then also, and what to speak of chaste ladies, because in the Prabhupada times there had been some brahmacharis and sannyasis who were completely what do you call, averse to women. You know, so when the Matajis would come from a path and these brahmacharis are also going, or sannyasi, whatever, as soon as they would see the Mataji, they would spit, literally they would spit on the road and change the direction and go like that. So the Matajis also very felt bad. Some of the Matajis were also called as less intelligent, women less intelligent like that. And they went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, is it true that we women are less intelligent? Prabhupada said, yes, because you think that you are women. You are not women. I told so many times, you are not the body, you are spirit soul. Yes, Prabhupada, yes. You know, and same thing Prabhupada told to Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj also. You know, because he was in black body, sometimes there would be racial discrimination and he would be this black and all. So he went to Prabhupada and said the same thing. And Prabhupada said, okay, they are taunting you, they are telling you like this, but why are you getting affected? I told you so many times, we are not the body. Then he also calmed down. So Prabhupada was always on that highest platform. So His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj says, these brahmacharis, sannyasis who thought women are like stool and they spat on that stool, they went on to become expert hogs to lick on the same stool for their whole lives. Because they got married to those very Matajis only. So that attachment, aversion will lead to attachment. In fact, attachment is there, that's why aversion is there. So one should not be in ignorance, having aversion to women. One should not be in passion, having attachment to women. One should be in goodness, have respect for them. That is a gentleman. And Prabhupada wants us to be gentlemen like that. So that is, if we take care, then we'll get blessings of so many Matajis and we'll flourish in spiritual life by their blessings. That is 38. So 39th. Sangam na kuryat pramadasu jatu yogasya param paramarurukshuhu matsevaya pratilabdhatmalabho vadanti ya niradvaramasya. One who aspires to reach the culmination of yoga and has realized his self by rendering service unto me should never associate with an attractive woman. For such a woman is declared in the scripture to be the gateway to hell for the advancing devotee. So Mataji should not feel bad. Similarly, man is also a gateway to hell for a woman if she's getting attracted to him in a illicit or illegal way. So anybody who is on the path of Krishna consciousness, transcendence, should take care not to have any attachment on the worldly platform, material platform. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says this param param, culmination or topmost, refers to Gyani as well as devotee. Prabhupada is also saying that to reach the culmination of yoga and has realized his self by rendering service unto me should never associate with attractive women. So Gyani and devotee both are referred to. Similarly, Jiva Goswami also says that he says those who are Gyani means those who are striving for the perfection of yoga. So that is one category. And second, devotees who has attained realization of Atma by service to Krishna. So both of them should be careful with women. And Niraya Dwaram. Niraya means hell, like that. But another explanation given by Jiva Goswami is she becomes not just door to hell, she becomes door to samsar. Again, he'll have to take a body. Because of attachment to woman, a man has to take another body. That is also being revealed ahead. Jiva Goswami also says one should not be attached to women, even women, even if they are wives. So caution for Prabhus who are in the Grahastha ashram. They should not be attached to their wives also. They could be affectionate, not attached. That means on spiritual plane, not to their bodies. One should not be attached to women, even if they are wives. They are a door to samsar, niraya. One will have to take birth again if one is attached to his wife on the material platform. And most likely next lifetime he'll be in the body of a woman. So yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. So no question of having any material attachment. If at all, one should have only spiritual attachment. That's all. Prabhupada quotes this yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana. Of the topmost of all the yogis is one who always thinks of me, abides in me, etc. Then next paragraph Prabhupada says, it is directed by such a self-realized soul who aspires to the topmost platform of yogic perfection should not associate with young women. In the modern age, however, there are so many rascals who recommend that while one has genitals, he should enjoy women as much as he likes, and at the same time, he can become a yogi. In no standard yoga system is the association of women accepted. His Holiness Chandramouli Swami Maharaj was asked, God has given perfect body, so there is a genital. So how do the brahmacharis use their genitals? And His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Chandramouli Swami Maharaj said, for passing urine. End of the answer. Like that. So foolish people will say anything and everything. But our devotees have answer for everything. Prabhupada towards the end says, one wants to stick to continued existence in the material world, he may indulge in female association unrestrictedly. So one who wants to continue with Sansara Chakra, he may. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, for this only, last line, according to the logic of the person lying down cannot fall any further. Isn't it? One who is lying on the ground, how can he fall further? No, the ground is there. So that logic is called as na shayana patati adha. Na shayana patati adha. The person lying down cannot fall any further. So according to this logic, if one is a karmi, then it is not a fault to associate with women. He already fallen. That doesn't mean that we recommend that to outsiders. That Prabhupada so strictly, even to hippies and all, or upcoming devotees, he told them that, like to him, Mukund Prabhu and Jan, that you are staying together, you like each other, so you get married. And Prabhupada only got them married. Similarly, one anybody knows the name of that band or some group people had come and they were into all these nasty things. And devotees were only scared that Prabhupada should not talk about four regulative principles. And sure enough, Prabhupada did mention, and they were completely agitated and they left in disgust. But Prabhupada said, no. So Prabhupada can introduce, but in our case, we may not introduce all directly four regulative principles. We tell them, please chant, give them prasadam, because very lowly fallen people, we cannot deal with them this way. Eventually, when they grow up, become little mature, then we can tell them these four regulative principles. In fact, in the early days, Prabhupada also, to early followers, he gave Diksha, and next day he wrote on the notice board that those who got initiated yesterday, they need to follow four regulative principles, namely, number one, no meditating, number two, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intercourse. And they're wondering, is it true? Is it for us? We got initiated yesterday. So Umapati Maharaj and some others, they went and said, Swamiji, is it true? Said yes. Diksha means 16 rounds and following for me. But because they were in love with Prabhupada, they thought, okay, no problem. So they accepted it also. Next, 40th. योपयाति शनैर्माया योषिद्देव विनिर्मिता तामीक्षेतात्मनो मृत्युं तृणैः कूपम् इवावृतम्. The woman created by the Lord is the representation of Maya, and one who associates with such Maya by accepting services must certainly know that this is the way of death, just like a blind well covered with grass. So Ya means she, Upayati approaches, Shanai slowly. So slowly, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says gently. Jiva Goswami also says the same thing. They translate Shanai as gently. Gently woman will approach, like that. So women appear very gentle for a man like that, but they will be the cause of his death. So one should not accept services from women. That is the principle. Just once, true story, one brahmachari somehow forgot, not here, some other place, he forgot his shawl on the door, something temple, and he paid obeisance to Prabhupada, he took darshan, and then he forgot, and then afterwards he realized he forgot his shawl and all that, but where he was not getting it. So next day when Mataji came, she had nicely washed the shawl, ironed it, nicely folded it. I said, this is it, like that. So this is very dangerous. You don't forget your shawl. So afterwards, then it leads to many dangers. There are many stories of brahmacharis who accepted services like that and eventually got married to that girl and like that. His only Jayadeva Swami Maharaj was giving Srimad Bhagavatam class in Mayapur, GBC meetings. They were all there. So he spoke very boldly about this subject matter. He said, the best service women can do to all the sannyasis is to not cook for them and not to serve them, like that. So it was very powerful. Maharaj the way speaks, So as soon as the question, the Bhagavatam over and any question, immediately one Mataji, foreign Mataji, Maharaj, how we women could progress in spiritual life, without service to sannyasis. Maharaj said that only by allowing him to remain a sannyasi, this is the biggest service you would do, Mataji. Please allow him to be a sannyasi. And she cooled down, and I hope others also cooled down like that. I came across one book in which one sannyasi in ISKCON has done PhD. It's done in the outside world, in the university, American university. So the thesis is this: why the monks, sannyasis mainly, they left sannyas. So there are many ISKCON sannyasis names there who left. Several have left. I heard some more than 80 or something like that. You might not have heard their names also. Agni Swami, Santosh Swami, some Jaimini Swami, We have not heard also. So why they left? Their interviews have been taken by this sannyasi who did PhD. That is the subject matter. And he asked, and they also, because they're from America and all, they're open. They told also what all mistakes they committed, where all they went wrong. And then, so one of the biggest thing in that is association of the women, opposite sex. So many stories are there like that. People got completely carried away. Brahmacharis, mridang players have changed all their saffron to white just because some Mataji was looking and dancing very nicely. So he thought, wow, she likes me. So he changed to white and approached her. She said, no, I am not interested in you. So one temple, ISKCON temple only, that one Mataji was giving hint, one girl was giving hint to a brahmachari. So he changed to white and approached her. And her father said, no, 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 you are poor, miss, I want better like that. After some months, she hinted another brahmachari from the same temple. He changed to white. When he approached, she rejected him also. After some more months, third brahmachari. So this is old news. I know till now the score of 3. I'm not sure whether fourth, fifth brahmachari is also there. So especially if the training is not there and people are not taking the training properly, then all these things are inevitable, unavoidable basically. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, association with a woman begins when one accepts service from her, because woman is especially created by the Lord to give service to man. So that is proper for them to be service oriented. But for that, they have their fathers, brothers, sons, husbands, not us. We have to be careful. We should not take service. Yes. And they're very emotional, so we have to be careful. Man is rational. His Holiness Bhakti Vidya Purna Swami Maharaj says he lacks emotions. So when he sees woman who has such emotions, he feels, if only she is there in my life will reach perfection. And women, they are wanting that rational nature of the man. So they are made for each other. But those who are in brahmacharya ashram and even those who are grahasthas, sincere grahasthas, they have to be careful not to be close to other women apart from their wives. Yes.
The question is like here in this purport, not purport, translation, the woman is considered representation of Maya. It's told by Kapil Muni to his wife, his mother, Devhuti. So what is the reason why he is telling about woman?
That we discussed already, because through her we have to be guided. No?
But
there's no need for her, Shachimata, this Devoti Mata.
Devhuti. Is it also because she is also pure devotee when she is hearing from Kapil Muni? And is there any tinge remaining so that the
No,
bodily
that at
attachment?
least I did not come across till now in my reading. We don't have to worry about all whether she had a tinge or not. We have so much of tinges, isn't it? Why to worry about Mother Devoti? Next chapter, 33rd chapter reveals how she left for spiritual world. So we don't suspect Mataji,
Why? Because
at least till now I have not come across. Maybe we'll take this question
making her more detached and
see, Lord Krishna is also telling Arjun whole Bhagavad Gita. Is it required for him? It is for us. He just used as an instrument. He's a pure devotee. Much before only so many instances were there where he's so Krishna conscious. So that is not for him. So that would be biggest problem if we think, ये माता देवोती के मन में कुछ कलमश था शायद, इसलिए बताया जा रहा है. मेरे लिए नहीं है, उनके लिए. अरे उनके लिए नहीं है at all. हमारे लिए है. हमारा पूरा कलमश ही कलमश है. So much difficulty. माउंटेन शब्द का भी अपमान हो जाएगा माउंटेन बोल के. Universal lust I have in my heart. Miss Universal means occupying the whole universe. So the problem is with us, not with Mother Devoti. She's our ideal. Acceptance of service rendered by a woman may appear very pleasing, but one should be very cautious in accepting such service, because it is clearly said that woman is the gateway to death or forgetfulness of oneself. She blocks the path of spiritual realization. You can see that is powerful. If some interaction with some woman, thought doesn't go away. It will take a long time, a lot of spiritual practice by which it may go to the subconscious mind maybe, or eventually evaporated. So it is very powerful. Very, very powerful. In the colleges and all, we must have seen how when one girl passes by, how many boys Even Rukmini Devi, when she was coming out of Durga temple, so many kings, Rajkumars, princes, they were there on their horses, elephant, and she was covered with her end of sari, I mean, whatever. But then because she was waiting for Krishna and Krishna is delaying, I should not get married to Shishupal. Before that, he should come. So she became desperate, and in desperation, she just gently removed her veil for some time, few seconds. And as soon as her beauty was seen, so many princes sitting on the horses, on elephant, they all fell down. Everybody fell down. And that moment of inattention only was used by Krishna to suddenly come there on chariot and tell her, please come. And he pulled her up. And then they got up. Kya hua? Kya hua? Arey, gai. Run. So just see how powerful. So it is universal. It is eternal principle. So we have to be taking care of ourselves. So you have Vishnu Thakur's commentary, na? Could you read it aloud? Jiva Goswami says one should see her covered by a female form. So certainly Matajis are souls, they are covered by a female form as death for oneself, like a well covered with grass, in which one's tame animal falls. He tells one may fall in the well, covered well with grass, but one's tame animal may fall. So our tamed animal is our mind. Not yet tamed, but whatever degree we have tamed. But if some woman comes, then our this mind, tame animal, will fall down. Mind will get attracted. So one has to be cautious. Yes, bro.
So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on text 40. Knowing a person's detachment, the woman shows off her own lack of desire and approaches him in the guise of service. She then becomes a source of disturbance. Ikshet stands for Iksheta, one must see. Concerning a well covered with grass, the well is thinking, let men fall into me. Therefore, no one should even go near that blind well. Whether one is completely indifferent, having bhakti, gyan or vairagya, whether one is unconscious from madness or sleeping or even dead, one should avoid women completely. That is the implication of the blind well.
See, the well is desiring somebody should fall in me. So one has to be extremely careful. Now 41st and 42nd talk about man is a problem for women. Women with bhakti and gyan. So they have to be cautious. So it works either way. Yam manyate patim mohat manmayam rushabhayatim stritvam stri sangatah prapto vittapatyagraha pad pradam. A living entity who, as a result of attachment to a woman in his previous life, has been endowed with the form of a woman, foolishly looks upon Maya in the form of a man, her husband, as the bestower of wealth, progeny, house, and other material assets. And so, what a powerful principle. So, women also may develop attachment to their husband, who was a female earlier. So then he is there in the man form. So now she has to be extremely careful also. That means what? One has to stay in his position, but be detached inside. There should be absolutely no attachment inside towards anything material, towards anyone material. It should be for Krishna only. And a woman could think, my husband is Krishna's gift on me. So more attraction to Krishna, not just forgetting Krishna. Oh, my husband, so nice. He's initiated also, and he gives me car also, and bungalow also, and this and that also, and he has promised 10 saris also. So this is all utter foolishness. So this women should be knowing that the man is a trap for me. Prabhupada talks about yam yam vapi smaran bhavan. So for a man to be attached to his wife is very dangerous. For a woman, it is said, if one is not a devotee, if the woman is attached to her husband, what will be next life? A man's body. So that is okay. That is elevation. Not that we want to condemn women body, but Prabhupada talks how male body is suitable for self-realization. Whereas female have so many restrictions. So that's why woman's attachment to man is glorified in the scriptures, but man's attachment to woman is never glorified. Prabhupada in the purport says after 3-4 lines, if a woman thinks of her husband at the time of death, naturally she gets the body of a man in the next life. In the Hindu scriptures, therefore, woman's chastity and devotion to man is greatly emphasized. A woman's attachment to her husband may elevate her to the body of a man in her next life, but a man's attachment to a woman will degrade him, and in his next life, he will get the body of a woman. We should always remember, as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, that both the gross and subtle material bodies are dresses. They are the shirt and coat of the living entity. To be either a woman or a man only involves one's bodily dress. The soul in nature is actually the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord. Every living entity being classified as energy is supposed to be originally a woman or one who is enjoyed. Okay, we'll read whole maybe. In the body of a man, there is a greater opportunity to get out of the material clutches. There is less opportunity in the body of a woman. In this verse, it is indicated that the body of a man should not be misused through forming an attachment to women and thus becoming too entangled in material enjoyment, which will result in getting the body of a woman in the next life. A woman is generally fond of household prosperity, ornaments, furniture, and dresses. She is satisfied when the husband supplies all these things sufficiently. The relationship between man and woman is very complicated, but the substance is that one who aspires to ascend to the transcendental stage of spiritual realization should be very careful in accepting the association of a woman. In the stage of Krishna consciousness, however, such restriction of association may be slackened, because if a man's and woman's attachment is not to each other but to Krishna, then both of them are equally eligible to get out of the material entanglement and reach the abode of Krishna. As it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, anyone who is seriously takes to Krishna consciousness, whether in the lowest species of life or a woman or of the less intelligent classes, such as the mercantile or liberal class, will go back home, back to Godhead, and reach the abode of Krishna. A man should not be attached to a woman, nor should a woman be attached to a man. Both man and woman should be attached to the service of the Lord. Then there is the possibility of liberation from material entanglement for both of them. So the Matajis have to be careful, not to get materially attached to their husbands just because they provide all the material facilities. One should be attached to Krishna only, nobody else in the creation. And others we can see as Krishna's gift. In fact, we have that word only, his grace and her grace. Krishna's grace has come to me through Raga Krupa Prabhu, through Mahatma Priya Prabhu, through Mahavirya Prabhu, like that. Not, Krishna, basically, Krishna's grace in my life. So that should be the way of seeing. Maybe the last verse if possible. Tam atmano vijaniyat pati apatya grihatmakam daivopasaditam mrutyum mrugayor gayanam yatha. A woman therefore should consider her husband, her house, and her children to be the arrangement of the external energy of the Lord for her death, just as the sweet singing of the hunter is death for the deer. So it's very strong knowledge, it's a gyan. One should not get attached to one's husband, even if he's a devotee or children who are devotees in a material way. One can see them as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I see the whole house turned into Vaikunta. One child is playing kartal, another is singing, one is doing deity worship, one is dancing. So that Krishna conscious atmosphere is good, but materially one should not have any attachment because that will be the cause of one more birth. So one of the acharyas compares singing of the hunter to husband and deer to wife. So women get attracted to the melodious voice of the man. So her husband may be like a singing hunter, providing her all the facilities, and she feels so nice that I'm so fortunate. I got such a husband who gives me all my facilities required. One can be grateful, but one should not be a great fool by thinking that he is only providing. Krishna is providing me through him. So I'm grateful, certainly. And let us have Krishna consciousness together. Machitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Let Krishna be in the center. That kind of understanding Mataji should have with her husband. Husband should have like that towards his wife, and everybody should have towards others. So one devotee was saying that while chanting, if we think of many other things, then those attachments will grow all the more. It's like feeding water to those crops, rather weeds, you could say. So during chanting, we should not think of that. Let everything else wait. Just here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Inattention is considered to be mother of all the other offenses. So if we are inattentive, we are attentive to something else. So we are watering there, and those thoughts, those weeds will grow, and they will choke our bhakti lata from further growth. So one should be careful. One has to tell one's mind, Bhajahu re mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. So we have to tell this before chanting, like that. Otherwise, Dushta mana tumi kisera Vaishnava. You rascal mind, what kind of devotee are you? Focus on holy name now. So like that, we have to slap our mind, kick in the morning, evening, all the time. Then we will not get carried away. In these instructions of Lord Kapila Dev, it is explained that not only is woman the gateway to hell for man, but man is also the gateway to hell for woman. It is a question of attachment. A man becomes attached to a woman because of her service, her beauty, and many other assets. And similarly, a woman becomes attached to a man for his giving her a nice place to live, ornaments, dress, and children. It is a question of attachment for one another. As long as either is attached to the other for such material enjoyment, the woman is dangerous for the man, and the man is also dangerous for the woman. But if the attachment is transferred to Krishna, both of them become Krishna conscious, and then marriage is very nice. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore recommends anasaktasya vishayan yatharham upayunjatah nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. Man and woman should live together as householders in the relationship with Krishna, only for the purpose of discharging duties in the service of Krishna. Engage the children, engage the wife, and engage the husband, all in Krishna conscious duties. And then all these bodily or material attachments will disappear. Since the via medium is Krishna, the consciousness is pure, and there is no possibility of degradation at any time. So we have to be detached from everything material. Any question? It's a very powerful section. How many of you agree? It's like a, what do you call, eye opener. Though we know this, nothing new, but we tend to forget. As we're regularly reading Prabhupada books or hearing Bhagavatam class will keep us on track. Otherwise, there is always slight deviation that begins. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj once said in one lecture that the plane which starts from London for New York, if it begins with some 1 degree, what do you call, deflection at the starting point only, it will not reach New York. It may not reach anywhere in US. It may land up in another country only. It began with not 180 degree, whatever, only 1 degree. In fact, 1 degree is also not required. Little bit less is also enough. It will go altogether different. So one has to be keeping oneself on track.
Mataji is asking, if wife is attached to devotional things, devotional service done by husband, such attachment is good or not?
Yes, and it should be seen in light with Krishna's mercy. It should not be basically the attachment to the physical form of the husband on the material plane is dangerous. That will lead to her getting one more material body, could be of a male body, but she should be all the time Krishna conscious through husband, through children, through all, and for that matter everyone, to everything around us and everybody around us. We should be only remembering Krishna and not getting attached to anything material. Then it would reach perfection. Any other? Anyone here? Yes.
And other things. But one or two brahmacharis, they also doubted that they had an assumptions or whatever, that some Mataji is looking towards them and all these things. And that was their assumptions. Mataji may not be having any issue.
Understood. Answer question.
So how this assumption or this mental concoction, a brahmachari or a devotee should protect himself from?
By going to a sadhu, hearing from him, serving him, then they will Destroy all that mental concoction, assumptions, imaginations. They will not allow you to go on with that. You go to Jayadeva Swami Maharaj, Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj, how they tell, my God, whole life you will remember that one statement that they speak. Okay. We should not imagine some Mataji is looking at me, maybe she likes me. Some devotees have told me. So I said, come on, don't be so self-conscious. You are not so great. I don't think she's looking at you. Don't take Krishna's position. Just safely perform your devotional service. If you are clear about your thing, nobody can hamper your devotional practice or progress. Okay. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे।